all right,
Welcome,
all
welcome,
right.
welcome. Welcome to another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up. There's
Indeed.
your excellent host, David Washington, and yours truly, Joel Foxley. Um, David, tell me what's happening today.
Okay, so our friend, former U.S. Attorney General William Barr, raises questions about left wing organizations engaging in what he describes as a highly coordinated, conspiratorial, partisan, and often unlawful conspiracy, end quote, to prevent the nonpartisan group, no labels, our friends, no labels, from appearing on the 2024 voting ballots. Barr argues that efforts to deny ballot access to a qualified organization like No Labels diminish First Amendment rights, making elections less meaningful. In conclusion, he contends that such actions not only potentially break laws, but also contradict democratic principles, comparing it to taking away someone's right to vote. So, what Barr emphasizes is this counterproductive nature of campaigns, suggesting that they might inadvertently benefit former President Donald Trump by reinforcing claims of corruption and elite interference. Let's go. Let's tackle this, Joel. What say you?
Well, William Barr is absolutely no friend of uh, the current leading nominee for the Republican Party. He's not a fan of Donald Trump. I think he makes a good point. Uh, with the No Labels Party trying to get ballot access, and with the the effort to keep them off the ballot, um, it just seems that this is one more thing that compiles the fact that it looks like Democrats don't want a fair and equitable election. Uh, Republicans, you have let's remove Donald Trump, let's remove no labels, let's remove all the obstacles so we can have strictly our one candidate on the ballot type stuff. So no, I really support Barr's initiative to kind of just put it out there. Hey, don't let democracy be.
Mhm.
You can't yell at me and scream at me that we're anti-democracy and then turn around and be the anti-democracy party when it comes to no labels or other initiatives, keeping people off your ballot so they don't even challenge your president, having your president as a write-in candidate in New Hampshire on the primary ballot because the primary's technically really been moved. All these little nuances that people don't even understand about the party politics that we are so eager to discuss with them.
Mhm. Um, the two-party system inherently, if I pronounce that correctly, benefit from just the two parties. Is there a concerted effort to keep no labels off the ballot? Maybe. I'm not too sure about that. Is there a concerted effort to keep Donald J. Trump off the ballot? Oh, hell yeah. By Democrats? Oh, hell yeah, even more so. I think that's stupid. Um, I believe that the Supreme Court will rule that Donald J. Trump will be able to be on every ballot. Um, a jury of his peers, nor has a judge, has ruled that Donald J. Trump committed insurrection. It may be public opinion. However, Trump is owed his day in court and the ability to defend himself against those alleged charges. But until
David,
then, he should appear on every ballot.
so
He meets the requirements.
let's talk about why we look at this as a so the people so Third Way, Move On, and Political Action Committee and Lincoln Project are all very anti-Trump. They're very liberal organizations.
Sure.
Clearly, they're the ones trying to keep no labels off the ballot. They have a concerted effort to do this. That's why this is why we can say yes, it is it's an effort to keep them off the ballot
So they're
because they're
agents of the
worried.
Democratic Party. They're acting
They're
as agents
agents.
for the Democratic
They're,
Party.
they are agents of the Democratic Party
How's that?
in the fact they are agents of the Democratic Party in the fact that they are registered with the liberal left. So I
Registered
mean,
how? I mean,
move
they're just
on.
like
It's clearly
they're
move
a
on is
political action
clearly
committee.
correct. That is aligned with the left.
Okay.
So yes, and you can't tell me that there's not. When you have
No,
when you
I
have
marched with
people that
Move
serve,
On years ago. But you're
when you
right.
have people that are in the Democratic Party actively in leadership positions and in these political action committees, literally in leadership positions, there's no separation there. So it's a
So the
clear,
same can be said about the Koch brothers and their organizations.
well, since the Koch brothers are no longer the Koch brothers,
Well, you know what I mean. The Americans for
I know
Progress.
what you mean, but we need to remember that Koch is, deceased and that's not the Koch brothers anymore. I mean, come on, the demand, the active political portion of the two of them is now dead, and there's only one actively involved, and he's not actively on the entire right. He's a libertarian, so it kind of goes a little differently. But yes, I'll agree. He's I'm not going to. You said George Soros, right? George Soros is not the in the Democratic move in the actual party itself. So no, this is move on is not. It is a political action committee with very few outside people working for it. He was laughing because I'm just saying like
Yes, I am.
no.
I'm still trying to wrap. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around your linguistic gymnastics in regards
I, I
to
I
the
just
Koch
want you to
brothers,
realize that
the
there's no Koch
Americans for
brothers anymore.
Progress, and their ties to you know conservative efforts. And more power to them. More power to them. That's what they do. The think tanks and so forth and so on. But so okay, we could both say that Third Way, Move On, and the Lincoln Project are liberal leaning organizations who are one, not big fans of Donald Trump, and two, are moving forward progressive or maybe liberal ideas. I
Yeah.
get that. Okay.
I would
Now
I would say the same thing with
these are
Republicans.
individual organizations who may align with a lot of the Democrat issues, but you also have conservative organizations that align with a lot of the Republican issues, particularly
Okay.
in regards to the Supreme Court. But that's a different issue. Now, I
Oh, see, I can't. I
they
can't
have
let that
every
with that.
but
Listen,
they
the
have
Supreme
every
Court.
right. They have every
The, Sup-
right to
you
make
can't
their
put the Supreme.
opinions
You
about
can't
no
put
labels.
you can't put the Supreme Court, which is an active government agency, in there. I don't care what you think of the sitting justices, because
No, I'm
each
just saying
justice is individual.
their
No,
active
no,
pursuit of the
no.
Supreme Court and the decision making of the
Okay,
Supreme Court.
I'm going to say it this way, David, because maybe I am all over the map. If you stay silent as an organization, you condone the actions of these agencies that work in conjunction with your agenda. Does that make sense?
No.
That means the Democrats haven't condemned it. That means they support it, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I mean, this is not
This is
a
when the
revelation. I
party,
mean,
the party
the,
should step in and say, "Don't do it." If they
oh
believe they can do it.
no, 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 no. That's anti-democratic. That's
The party, it's
First Amendment.
so let's talk about the party trying to keep anybody who challenges Biden off the ticket. How about that? Here in Florida,
That's
there's an
happened here in
active.
Florida. You are exactly
That's the
correct.
same
That's
thing.
happened here in
That's
Florida.
how I classify.
Ask
That's
Dean
how I
Phillips.
classify this. That's how I classify this. Democrats, you need to start saying democracy is democracy. If your president's in jeopardy of losing because you put some no name on the ballot. Come on, guys, you're ridiculous. I mean, it's a this is the kind of stuff. Just you're a Democratic Party. You talk about democracy. You want the people to have their day in the ballot box,
Well,
and you're not giving it to them.
let's also look at what's happening in places like Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, how and even California, how the Republican state parties have changed the rules or tweaked the rules to make sure that Donald J. Trump wins their primary or wins those delegates or is on the ballot. It happens on both sides. It's not just the Democrats. Do I condone what the Democrats did in regards to ensure that Joe Biden has the nomination out of Florida? No, I don't. I would have loved to have heard and have the ability to vote for Dean Phillips. I, I would have. Unfortunately, the two-party system benefits from these type of rules, making the rules and determining who's going to be the nominee for their parties. At the end of the day, on November 8th, we have the opportunity to say no thank you to both
Well,
Trump and Biden.
if we limit ballot access to third parties, then we're doing our country a disservice. So that's my final word. I just, no matter who it is, either side, I believe that I've told you before. It doesn't matter if we've anointed Donald Trump or not. Nikki Haley is in this race. She should maintain her position of raising money and continue to do what she's doing. She's making very clear contract to what we already have. So whether she has a chance or not, that's money well spent because we can now, you know, sharpen our candidate. Your candidate's not sharp anyway, so we don't have to worry about
Let me address all that. uh, Nikki Haley was done back in Iowa. Your nominee is and will always be the phenomenon called Donald J. Trump. You all are nominating a movement, and that's the MAGA movement. I'm looking forward to you Republicans from the MAGA wing to the moderates to line up behind your nominee, which I expect you all to do. Again, the outcome most likely will be what it was in 2020. You know,
with different results because Donald Trump will win this
I
year
doubt.
because of the economy and because of the fact that you have several Democrats that are working people that clearly are done with the the government making them work three jobs just to get by, having a high inflation, and then telling them that this mirage of an economy is really working for them when it's only working for the rich and the political. So I see this as a walk away for Donald Trump because people gave the Democrats a chance and they found out that neither party is worth their salt right now. And when we have people that are 80 years old on the ballot, we just should be looking at, whoever they pick for the vice president better be a damn good selection because we got the death of both parties as far as I'm concerned right now.
You make a good point, especially the sentiment that people have right now of the parties, and also with the two nominees or presumptive nominees, and also their perception of their well-being in this particular economy. Um, I believe people are migrating to this MAGA movement because of what you just said. The elite, the rich, are benefiting from this economy. They benefited from the stimulus after to abate, the COVID shutdowns. Um, People are frustrated. People are frustrated that record profits are being made by corporations that is driving up inflation and
No,
they're
that's not
seeing it.
what's fucking up
No,
inflation.
it is.
Inflation's being driven
It
up by
is.
the amount of money that's been flushed into the economy,
Right,
and the amount of fraud and the
starting with
amount
the
of
COVID
fraud
relief,
and the amount
starting
of
with the
fraud.
COVID relief plans, instituted under Trump, but that's a different story.
But how much of that
There's
money?
yes,
How
there
much
is
of
a
that
ton.
money went to
There's a
people? How much of that money went to, offset
small businesses,
unemployment and the unemployment and everything else? So you had people getting
a lot,
unemployment payments. You had people making
except in Florida.
record amounts. You had people making record amounts of money off of federal unemployment that was flushed into the states.
Except for
So,
Florida.
Florida got the money. It just
They
was
got
spent
some money,
differently.
but again, Florida was a little bit stingy in getting that money out to people. Don't forget the hotlines and
Listen,
access
don't
numbers
forget you talk about
were bogged down in
David talks
in
about David
problems.
talks David talks
They,
about the wealthy making
record
benefit off of
profits.
this stimulus.
They did.
Right. So the Democrats, when the Florida Democrats decided to take stimulus money in record amounts that they weren't authorized to even have, and have to bear the burden of having to admit that they took it, um, yeah, there was a lot of fraud in the fact that people got stimulus money, but it wasn't just big corporations that made that money.
But
And
it's the corporations
everybody
who are
who
making
took
record
advantage.
profits, Joel. It's the corporations who have made record profits after COVID, who have driven up prices.
Everybody who you're talking about record profits. So let's look at those profits that they're actually making and how much of that is actually going into the pocket of the business itself, because that's not true.
It's going
A
to
true 100.
stockholders.
That's not a 100% true statement, and David knows that. These the actual cost of doing business has gone up, so the cost is gone. So these profits are actually, when you look at a line graph, they're actually not record profits.
No,
They're
they're record
record,
profits, and the
no.
the the economy flush with new money.
Well, you
It's
got
it's
people
not just
pushing,
the
but
record profits, it's a
you
combination.
got
It's not so
you
easy.
got
It's not that easy. I
you got
agree with you.
Democrats
It's not that
pushing.
easy.
You got
However
you got
however, fraud
you've
is
got
just a
you've
fraction.
got
It's just a
Democrats.
fraction of the problems.
You have Democrats trying to push the middle class to so low. And listen, you want to you want to say you're taxing, you know, high income makers. You're not. You're putting the burden, all these tax burdens that Democrats like to put in place, all affect the middle class. So
Like the last
look,
big tax reform by the Trump administration, where
I will say that
now
the
where
economy
now
was
the
stimulated.
the the lower brackets are about to get a huge tax hit based
People
on
remember
the
this
Trump
too.
based on the Trump tax reforms.
People look
The
at
rich
Trump and they
the
look at
rich
the
folks, they got their tax hit early. Now it's about when y'all do your tax returns this year, talk to us, comment, let us know the difference between now and 7 years ago. Tell us what those tax cuts have done for you. Fact.
y'all y'all know for a fact that the first 2 years of Donald J. Trump were absolutely astounding. The economy was at its peak, and people remember that, and people don't even blame him for the shutdown. They don't blame him for the inflation. So
Ron DeSantis did.
thank you, Biden, because guess what? It doesn't stick. This man's like Bill Clinton when it comes to the economy. He's Teflon. Just accept the fact that you guys will be tearing up again because Donald Trump will become president. It'll be Grover Cleveland all over again. Guess what? We won't have one person that served two separate terms. We'll have another one because Donald Trump is going to win this election. Whether I like him or not, it doesn't matter. The people like him. They understood one job is better than three. And that's my final word on this. The Democrats, keep your hands off the third parties because that's the only chance you have of getting Donald Trump to not win this election. And that's my final word.
Remnants of Ross Perot and the threat he had to Dent candidate George H.W. Bush. Here we go again, right, Joel?
Yeah, listen, I still didn't talk to my mom and my brothers for almost a decade after that. No, I truly voting for a man who quit. I never will forgive them for that. Joe's just having fun. But yes, guys, like, share, please. We are innovators. We're telling you the facts. You may not agree, but when you bring this thing back up and Donald Trump's your president, and you know, no matter what David did to try to defend it, you'll be
Hey,
watching this
I'm ready for
episode.
people to
Say,
comment because I already have my facts ready. I got them so ready right now. I know exactly where in my, Google Drive folders the facts are. I am so ready for the comments. So bring it, people. Let's go. Let's talk about this.
thank you, David, for taking this conversation and letting me, you know, spit out some stuff. But listen, love you guys out there. Please, again, like, share, and comment because you can't make this shit up. We don't know until November what it's going to be, but we do know who your nominees are going to be because parties don't want change.
We'll see you the next time.